Good day everyone. We're going to present our topic which is all about training staff. Training is the process by means of which individuals acquire skills necessary to perform particular tasks. For the present discussion, we will assume that their tasks are job-related and that the individuals acquiring the skills do so for employment purposes. Many are given training by their employers. Some seek training to become qualified for employment in specific job. The primary purposes of training is to improve job performance. Many employers provide training for these specific purposes. To improve their employees on the job performance, some provide training only for new employees so that each newcomer will learn the specific of the job he or she is expected to do, as well as the performance criteria associated with the job. Others also provide training for long-term employees so that each will have an opportunity to maintain or improve the skills required in the specific job. Training needs should be based on assessment of present staff and new staff. For present staff members, one should be concerned about their current ability to carry out their task to meet the standard and standard procedure established for their job. And the development of new standards and standard procedures, or both of these, may lead to the need for additional training or present staff. Often, employers find that employees who have been their job for some time require some training. Another consideration for some employers is extent of the need institute cross-training. Cross-training is defined as teaching a worker to perform the duties of some jobs or jobs other than his or his own. A training plan is a series of elements that constitute a method for teaching a specific employee the skills required to perform a job correctly and in the manner anticipated by management, when the standards and standard procedure for the job were developed. Although the specific training plan vary from one organization to another, the following elements of the most commonly included objectives, approaches to training, training methods, instructional timetables, location, lesson plan, trainer preparation, trainee preparation, the training sessions, and evaluation. Let's start from training objectives. It identifies the skills, tasks, and behavior that a specific employee will have mastered by the time training is complete. Approaches to the training. There are several approaches to training that must be considered before selecting one or more other of the training methods available. These approaches are characterized and described as follows. First, on-the-job training means that the new employee is taught the technique of doing a job while actually performing the job during business hours. It is more commonly used with experienced workers who need only to be shown the methods used by the hospitality operation. Next is off-the-job training means that the new employee is trained in a location away from the business or at the business while it is not in operation. Structured training is characterized by a formal approach to instructions. The structured approach requires extensive planning with considerable time and attention given to the nature of each formal step in the specific training plan being undertaken. It may include lesson plans, manuals, training films, and videotapes developed specially for use in a training program. The unstructured approach tends to work well in situations where higher level of skills training are not required. For example, a guarding manager newly hired to replace a retiring employee and coming on the job with extensive skills honed over a period of many years, may be able to gain all the training needed by working closely with the retiring guardian manager for a period of several days. Instructional timetables. When a suitable training method has been selected, it is necessary to assess the amount of time training will take, the number of days, hours, or minutes that should be allotted to each places of training, as well as the overall length of the time required to complete the training.
Locations. The nature of the training to be done is key to selecting a training method, which helps determine the type of location that will be most suitable for training. Lesson plans is a written step-by-step description of a training required for a specific job, including an objective, detailed notes about content, the instructional timetable, and any items that may be required during instruction, such as specific pieces of equipment, materials, and other individual or visual aids. Trainer preparation. With considerable effort having been devoted to establishing training objectives, creating job descriptions, writing job breakdowns, developing performance, determining suitable approaches and methods, developing lesson plans, establishing timetables, and choosing locations, the essentials for training are in place. Training sessions with objectives, approach, method, instructional timetable, location, and lesson plan all established and with trainer and trainee prepared to begin. The actual training process can start. The trainer is expected to follow the lesson plan proceeding at a reasonable pace. Evaluation. After training of any kind has taken place, it is important to evaluate the training to see whether established training objectives have been met and to learn whether those trained are able to meet the performance criteria for their positions. Many large organizations employ professional human resources personnel to develop training programs that can be implemented throughout the organization. Essentially, there are but two alternatives available for any company-wide program. First one is localized training. Requires that trainers be sent to the individual units either to train the staff at their normal work site or at an appropriate site nearby. Training manuals take different forms depending on the intended audience. Some are written as guides for trainers and give the trainer specific information and tips that will help to provide the best possible training sessions for staff. Although the specific contents of training manuals vary, most attempts to include information that can be categorized in four areas. First is the general background. The manual should include an introduction to the organization, to its principal goals and objectives, to its philosophy, and to its view of the role of the individual within the organization. Second is the specific duties of a job. The manual should include a detailed list of the duties of each job taken from the job description, as well as the performance criteria established for each task. In order for a trainee to be able to understand the duties clearly, this should be described in great detail and incomprehensible language. Third is the specific procedures for carrying out the duties. The manual must list all standard procedures established for performing the duties and tasks assigned to each job. If possible, the standard procedures should be listed with the duties, tasks, and performance criteria associated with the job. Is the summary. This section of the manual normally emphasizes the critical points made in the earlier sections, including the importance of the job major duties associated with each job, and of those specific and distinctive standard procedures that render the proper performance of the job critical in the organization.